Wheeling, Ohio County Health Department. Tetanus shots continue today until about 4 o'clock at the Triadelphia United Methodist Church and at the Wheeling, Ohio County Health Department here at the City County building on the first floor. They also will be at least in Triadelphia all day tomorrow at the same time, and then the health department will reassess based on the needs moving further into the week, and obviously everybody will be notified when that takes place. But nonetheless, throughout the rest of the week, you can get a tetanus shot and a hepatitis A shot if you want to here at the health department Monday through Friday. Just a city road closure that a lot of people have been asking about. The Schilling Bridge in Elm Grove is going to be closed indefinitely. There's no opening date for that. There are road closure signs that we ask people to obey at this point, so that's going to be closed until further notice. The same goes for GCMP Road at the junction of West Virginia State Route 88. There are concrete barricades there. Maybe the sheriff will elaborate a little bit more on the road closures here in a minute. Sheriff Nelson Croft will talk first. He's going to talk a little bit about the ongoing search for our missing person, traffic in Triadelphia, some speeding related things there. We've found a lot more vehicles in our waterways that we've pulled, some concerns about fake money donations, looting, things of that nature as well, and maybe some issues that may arise in some of the state roads that are more so in the Triadelphia, Valley Grove, and outer Ohio County areas. Emergency Management Director Lou Vargo will follow. He'll just talk about overall Emergency Operation Center response for the remaining week. Some things that we need and we no longer need as far as donation goes. Obviously, there's concern about the heat wave that we're experiencing right now, some cooling centers and things of that nature, and talk about our donation line as well. Following him will be Assistant Emergency Management Director Tony Campbell. He'll talk a little bit more about FEMA that's going to be out and about that people may see. There's going to be a lot of field operations going on throughout Woodsdale, Elm Grove, Triadelphia, Valley Grove, talk about some preliminary damage reports and obviously some questions regarding the National Guard, people that may obviously need their homes to be demolished and things of that nature, and also some questions regarding vehicles that were recovered and people that might have insurance questions and things of that nature. And then Triadelphia Fire Chief Dave Patterson will talk a little bit about what's going on in his community, and then Mayor Chad Klee in the Valley Grove will talk a little bit about some things going on out in Valley Grove. But I'll turn it over to Sheriff Nelson Croft.
Thank you, Bill. So we'll get off on the roughest part of this for me right now is Miss Sandy that's still missing, that being Sandy Parsons. The search has been continuing. I've been in contact with her daughter every day. While we're praying for a miracle, we kind of know probably the outcome, the probable outcome. The family needs closure, and if anyone can help in searching the creek banks, I would appreciate that. We have drones up every day. Use your safety first. The creek's still flowing quick. There's a lot of debris, a lot of brush, and a lot of ways to get hurt, okay? And if you're going to do any searching, please wear a reflective vest. So in case you accidentally cross someone's property, they don't think you're trespassing and looking for scrap metal. The public's they're doing well, but they're starting to lose their patience with people driving through and gawking. Looting on here, I'll just go into that now. The best advice I can give you, please don't loot. And if you do loot and you get caught, pray it's one of my deputies and not the public, because you're not going to be handled well by the public losing their stuff. And I can't blame them. We found, as Philip said, up to about 75 vehicles in the creeks. These are being removed through the West Virginia Conservation Agency, various tow companies. The WVCA has made a contract with J&R Excavating to remove them. Lou will probably talk a little bit more about cleaning the creek banks up, or the creek bed up, to eliminate or help eliminate any more flooding. Corporal Matt Ronick has been working with the West Virginia Fusion Center. That is an intelligence-based agency that not a lot of people have heard of. It's a law enforcement-based agency that it deals with counterterrorism, fraud, anything criminal. We have had every GoFundMe or fundraiser that comes in, if they find them, they are looking at them and they are flagging ones that seem to be sketchy. So far, we have had, as of last night, 76 accounts that have been flagged with a total of $206,993 collected. If any of these cases are actually totally fraudulent, a lot of them, Corporal Ronick has called these people. He's been investigated. That's his full-time position right now at the sheriff's office. He's called them. Most of these people that he's called so far, they have meant well. They just don't have a good plan. They've been asked to help in another way and take their account down. If it is fraud, we'll be prosecuted as fraud to the fullest extent of the law. Traffic in Triadelphia and Valley Grove, we've been issuing citations for people driving around the barriers that have no address to go to, that are just out for their sightseeing. I hate to issue citations, but that's how it's going to be. These folks do not need you out there gawking at their tragedy. The speed limit is 40 on Triadelphia and Valley Grove, and Valley Grove actually 45. If you're going that speed limit, it's been determined that is way too fast for as many cleanup crew and first responders and rescue people we have out there. I spoke with Charlie Reynolds this morning at the DOH. We have agreed to put advisory speed limit signs at 25 miles per hour. We have signboards on the east end of the floodplain and on the west end, and our deputies will still be patrolling. As far as nighttime patrols, I still have deputies tonight coming from Boone County and Putnam County. They're on the way now. The chief deputy from Putnam County and the sheriff actually from Boone is coming. We appreciate the response we've had. Marshall County Sheriff Mike Doherty is also sending deputies up tonight and for the rest of the week. We have deputies coming from Wood, Jackson, and Cabell still. We'll be in the area as long as this takes until the thievery stops, until we get things cleaned up. And that's really all that I have at this time. If you see any vehicles in the creeks, please call us. If you see anything that you find suspicious, call us. We had an odor investigation that I responded to on Saturday. It turned out to be a rodent. We don't mind. Please call. I don't care. Everyone knows what we're talking about. If you smell something, we normally don't have to say that. If you see something, say something. But unfortunately, in this case, please call us. We'll check it out. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Nels. As the sheriff did say, one of our prime objectives is to find our missing person. What he didn't say was he knew the family. I can assure you that we are not stopping our efforts. We're not going to rest until we get closure to that family. But for the county-wise, the state of emergency here in the city, the county, and the governor's declaration for Hyde County state emergency remains in effect. I could tell you that the governor has issued statements and primary damage assessments to FEMA, and which will go to the president. Tony's going to update you on the Small Business Administration and FEMA primary damage assessment coming in. But why that's important to you, that's the step that gets us closer to the hopes of getting a presidential declaration. So the Emergency Operations Center here will remain in partial activation. The State Emergency Operations Center is in partial activation, and we have conference calls at 3 o'clock every day just for updates, so they have all the information that they could pass on to the governor. We also have area command posts set up, one at the Valley Grove Fire Station, one at the Triadelphia Fire Station, which the chiefs will talk to you and the mayor will talk to you about, and we also have an area command set with supporting the public service district in restoring water and sewage throughout the county in the rural areas outside of the city. In support of that, we have 2 points of distribution for families, not only at the fire stations, but at the Triadelphia Methodist Church. So supplies are still being handled. Our storage facility at Wheeling University and West Banco Arena, I could tell you the outpouring of supplies from all over the country, from different states. It's just overwhelming to see the glove and the compassion people have with the information and equipment and supplies they're sending us, to the point that Right now, we have more water and clothes that we need. We really don't need a lot of paper towels or sanitation or sanitizers and hand tools. But looking at our storage facilities, we do need additional fans, dehumidifiers, fly strips for obvious reasons in this heat, batteries, bug sprays, hoses, and nozzles. So if anybody would continue like to donating equipment or supplies to us, we would happily take those. Because of people just don't have the opportunity to provide supplies because they're all out of town. The monetary donations are still being accepted at the High County Commission. Checks are made out to Wheeling High County Emergency Management Agency, and I can assure you with 100% that every cent that is collected is going to be distributed to the victims of. It's not going to be kept for first responders. There's others donations coming that way. It's not for even those made out to the county. 100% of this money donated will be going to the victims of this terrible tragedy. Also, in addition to our recovery from this event, it's 98 degrees outside. We have the homeowners, friends, families, they're all working out there. Our volunteers, our first responders, our deputies, everybody's working in this heat. So we set up cooling centers, not only for them, but anybody in the area. The Salvation Army has a cooling center. I heard West Bank or Wheeling Civics has one. I think some churches have spontaneously set them up, which is great. Anybody outside the city, if you need a cooling center, I've talked to each of the volunteer fire chiefs. We can make arrangements. If you need a cooling center, we'll open those up. Obviously, Valley Grove and Triadelphia is working in this disaster recovery, but the other fire departments, we could get those manned if you do need it. And lastly, the donation line we were using, the 7109, that's kind of, the calls aren't coming in like that, so we're in the process of moving those calls to 211. So anybody who needs information on that, where to donate supplies or where to get more supplies, those phones will be answered by 211. If that hasn't been in place, you could also call the Emergency Operations Center at 304-234-3756. And I believe that's it. I'll turn it over to Tony to update you on the current.
Okay, my job is for the good news, and I think this is really good news for the residents of both Triadelphia and Valley Grove. FEMA's here, okay? That's a big deal. I know everybody's been waiting for that. I want to stress to you that if FEMA comes to your house, that they have ID with them. If you're unsure, ask them for ID. They will provide it to you. So that's a good thing. The other thing is I'm proud of what our citizens have done. To this point, we have had over 870 of those individual surveys done. Credit that to all the volunteers that went out and got their iPads and their iPhones and helped their neighbors get those done. Why is that a big deal? Because FEMA's here. FEMA now has boots on the ground. So what they do now is they do a preliminary damage assessment. It's okay that everybody had their surveys done, but they actually have to see it. So they'll be coming to the houses. They want to walk inside your house, see how much damage there is. Because when they do these assessments, the individuals that fill them out, they have different divisions on there, like destroyed or extensive damage or moderate damage or minimal damage or affected. Okay, so in their mind, they have that certain aspect for the damage that's done. Sometimes they're not right. Somebody might put down affected and it might be minimal. Minimal might be more than minimal. Or it could be the point where actually it's in a destroyed state, but they don't actually realize it. So they're great for doing that. The other aspect that they're sending here is to the Small Business Administration. There's a lot of businesses in Valley Grove and Triadelphia. They're mom and pop businesses that have been greatly affected by this. So the SBA is here and they're going to assist them with finances. That doesn't necessarily say that that's free money to them, but it certainly is at a reduced rate that they can get their businesses back up and running again. So we're looking forward to that as well. They have a list of all those. They have a list of people that have filled out their individual surveys. And please, if you did not do an individual survey and you can get to someone to let them know that you haven't, they can assist you with it still, or they can give those addresses to FEMA and get to you. Those who are in the outlying areas of Valley Grove and Triadelphia, we haven't forgotten you. They'll be coming to see you too. You know, it's a little bit more difficult for them to get to certain areas where the bridges are washed out or the roads are in poor condition, but they're going to make their way to you some way or another. If they don't come to your house specifically today or tomorrow or the next day, that doesn't mean that they don't see you, they don't know that you have a problem, but they can't see everyone in these next few days. When FEMA is activated, if the declaration is declared, that's when they'll send out larger teams. They'll have you come to an area where you fill out your applications, get your pictures from you if you have them, if they haven't seen them already, or if they need to go to your site, they will go to your site. So that's good for you. The other thing is National Guard, and I'm sure, Mayor, you can attest to this, and you can attest to this too, Chief Patterson, that they've been working diligently in both areas. They've been doing a great job. One of the things that they said is people are coming up to them and asking them to tear down their houses because they're extremely damaged. Listen, they can't do that. Number one, it's dangerous for them. Number two, liability-wise, if you have insurance and you tear that house down, your insurance is liable not to cover it. So we don't want that to happen to you. The other thing is when FEMA comes in, they like to see that there's a structure there, what's left, so they can make their determination of how much damage is there as well. There are some contractors going around, I understand, and say they will assist you tearing your house down for free or for a minimal charge. Please wait, okay? We'll get to you eventually, or they'll get to you eventually, but just don't do it right now. It's not the right time to do it. The last thing that I'd like to talk about, too, is there was a post, I believe, that was put up on Facebook that Middle Creek Garage was charging to have vehicles released that were towed from the floodwaters. Talking to Middle Creek, they said that is not their policy. If that happened to you, please contact them. Obviously, whoever told you that was misinformed. There will be no charge, and if you were charged, they will reimburse you. At this time, I'd like to introduce Chief Patterson. He's going to talk to you a little bit about his community. He's going to be followed up by the mayor of Valley Grove. Mr. Klee, he's going to do a little bit of the same.
Let's talk about town of Triadelphia. So we've been working hand in hand with the National Guard for the cleanups. I got crews out with small equipment going ahead of the Guard. We got to coincide with them every night. We have a meeting and we have a game plan by morning what we're going to do. I've got my guys going out with our volunteers with their excavators and their skid steers going ahead, getting all the debris moved from behind the houses out to the main road so the Guard can load them. We are concentrating in the pickle patch today. If anybody knows where that's on the lower east end behind the Clark Station. Littman has donated, the company that's doing does the water lines, they've donated 3 end loaders, and that has helped tremendously with getting this product moved out of there, getting all this junk moved out. So we moved the Guard equipment, has got moved more east, so we moved more toward Valley Grove way, but we're still got a lot of cleanup along Route 40. Primarily tomorrow we're going to be hitting Wickman Avenue, and then that area this evening I think they're going to hit along National Road around Playface Tire. That's where that one-lane road is, so we're going to have to use some caution in that area when people are driving. Also, we have a there's one of them cooling stations they brought into, it is at the Triadelphia Community Center where the Guard is stationed. They brought that in for the Guard and anybody else needs to use it. I also know, what else was there today? I was down there. They got, Red Cross does have some clothing and some supplies also there at the community center. I did not know that till the other day. And like I said, the cleanup efforts, if you drive through the community day and you knew anything about what happened here, I mean, it has tremendously been cleaned up and it's 100% coming along. So with our guys, the volunteers we got out in Triadelphia right now, I know the Guard with the meeting with them, they saying what we've done in 3 days, they would have been 2 weeks without the help of this community. This community's come together. My town's devastated. I mean, they've come together to bring it together, and it's coming along. And I thank everybody for their help and support. And let's keep going. We've got to keep moving. We've got to get this done.
I'm Chad Klee, the Mayor of Valley Grove. I want to like to start out with thanking everybody who has pitched in and helped and donated their time, their equipment. It's been unbelievable what has happened since last Saturday night, Sunday morning, when we came to this disaster, and then people just showed up out of the blue with their own equipment, using their own diesel fuel, just asking, what can I do? What can I do to help? It's been overwhelming. And again, I want to thank everybody who's volunteering. There's people at the fire department every day. There's just people calling. There's companies calling. Just a huge thank you to everybody. And I'd like to just, as Dave said, we're working with the National Guard every day. 5 o'clock we have a meeting. We kind of figure out where they are, where we are. In Valley Grove, we've got all the debris pushed out onto Route 40 so they can just make one straight path right down through. They're going as fast as they can. It's been great. It's really sped them up a lot with us having that out there. We have plenty of supplies at the fire department, at the Village of Valley Grove Fire Department. It is full of everything you need. I mean, it really is a lot of stuff still there. We still have, a lot of people there helping with foods coming in. Everything's been great. Other than that, with the communities of Triadelphia and Valley Grove working together, we're always seeing what's going on, how we can help one another. I just want to give out a huge thank you to everybody.
Thanks, Chad. Does anybody have any questions?
So we've been getting reports of price gouging. Can you speak to that?
I can, but it's probably better if the sheriff would do it.
So what are we speaking of here, sir?
Specifically from towing companies, have there been reports of price gouging?
There have been reports put out there on Facebook. Unfortunately, we do not regulate the towing companies. The state actually deregulated a lot of that early on, but as Lou said, if they say they're not charging, then I'm going to have to go with that until we find out otherwise. But I have heard that rumor as well, and not just one tow company. If I can speak to it real quick, the rumors on Facebook have just gotten to the point of ridiculous, and I have people asking me why we're hiding the amount of fatalities. And they claim to have people that have worked the hospital that are finding dozens of bodies coming in at once, and that simply is not true. And there's no call for that in this tragedy. We have 8 that we've confirmed deceased. We have 1 that's missing. Now, is there a possibility that someone was coming through and we'll find another body or 2? Yes, that's going to be the possibility. But as of now, we have no reason to hide the amount of deaths we've had. That would actually go against our recovery efforts and our FEMA efforts in getting the federal declaration. That's all I have.
Yeah, I heard that also too. Like I spoke earlier, I've seen communities come together like never before. I've seen this country come together like never before, getting supplies from everything else. There's wonderful people out there who are supporting us, and there's a shame there's a couple people with these false accusations and things. It's like Tony said, if somebody thinks they were misquoted a price or billed a price, call that towing company. Middle Creek said, we've been working around the clock. These first responders, these towing companies have too. If somebody made a clerical error in their billing and you don't think it's right, call that towing company, and they said they will correct it. These towing companies, just like our first responders, I've been here since minute 1 of this event, and I've seen them come out at our command post and say, I'm here with 2 rotators. We're here for you. What do we need? They've come out and volunteered just like everybody else. These towing companies, 75 cars they removed working with our swift water teams. They've done just an exceptional work. For false accusations and things. But if it was, like Middle Creek said, if they made a mistake, they'll take care of it.
Just to clarify, FEMA, to unlock the money for FEMA assistance, requires a presidential declaration. However,
Correct.
FEMA representatives are in town, they're aware, that's a good sign.
As I spoke before, here's what happens. At the beginning, Mr. Herron declared a state of emergency in the city. It basically says that this disaster is more than they can handle. I immediately took it to Zach Abraham, who declared that for the county. And then we took it to the governor. This is the Thomas Stafford Act, and this is the steps in there. And now we're getting information to the president. And before he declares that, now FEMA's here. When we say FEMA's here, as Tony said, this is their preliminary damage assessment. FEMA is now looking at our numbers and say, Mr. President, they're right. They have this, and they're going to clarify that. And then that's what he bases his information on, his declaration on. FEMA here doesn't mean that we're ready for individuals to come and apply for assistance. This is the next step in the Thomas Stafford Act that will get the information to the president, then he'll make that decision. So, yeah. But again, why it's so important, as Tony said, is this is one step closer to get a declaration. And we're praying every day that, but it's a time process. We have 29 homes, 100 and some majorly damaged. They have to look at all those. So it's not going to be, oh, they're here today and gone tomorrow. They're going to be here for a couple of days. It's a slow process, but it's well worth it when we get it, because a lot of these families have been devastated. Anything we could get from the federal government to replace their homes and their clothing and everything is going to be, it's going to help them.
How long does it take for a declaration like that? Is there like a timeline, I guess, when the president would look at it?
As Tony said, FEMA's here now, and SBA, they're starting to get their numbers. Every day they'll come back and they report to FEMA Region 3. They'll get those numbers. They'll start accumulating. It may, they might say, oh, those guys are right. This house was destroyed. That might meet the criteria. Maybe he'll do it, today. We really don't have a timeline. I've seen it done. One time with the flood, we had Homeland Security. He came here, he flew in, and on the way back, he called the president, and President Bush declared it based on that telephone call. But right now, as Tony said, with boots on the ground, that's just going to get faster information to President Trump, and hopefully he'll make a declaration soon.
And one point with that too, every representative for West Virginia has written a letter to the president. That helps. So they're trying to move the process as quickly as they can. So just so everyone knows, in these communities, you have the support of the state government, 100%.
And one other thing too we're working on now, a lot of these people has lost everything, which includes all their IDs, their driver's license things. So we're working on ways with DMV, we're working on the federal government, and there's passports missing, things like that. So we're going to help these people, declaration or not, to expedite the process of getting their federal IDs and their state IDs. Because a lot of people don't have driver's license anymore. They're in the Mississippi somewhere. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
And Philip will keep you up with any additional information.
Those were Ohio County officials updating us on flash flooding recovery efforts just 9 days after those floods battered Ohio County. Now, just for a quick recap from that, we did hear that FEMA does now have boots on the ground in Ohio County. There has been no presidential declaration just yet, but FEMA is in Ohio County speaking with residents about their losses. Also, still one woman missing as these recovery efforts continue. That's 83-year-old Sandra Parsons of Triadelphia. Searchers are still looking for her, and the Ohio County Sheriff says that they are staying positive, though the time continues to tick. 75 vehicles have been found and removed from Area Creek so far. There are still a handful of road closures in effect because of these floods. Now, we will have much more coming up on these efforts on News 9 Live at 5, and of course, you can find them on our website, WTOV9.com.